Ladies and gentlemen, everything that you've been told about being rich is a lie. That is, unless you were told the truth. I don't know what you were told, but what I do know is that most people in this world have a very distorted view of what it means to be rich, because most people think a rich person is a person that wears designer clothes, drives a sports car, and lives in a big house. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, that is the path to becoming broke. Now, this might be difficult for some people out there to comprehend, but when you spend all your money, you end up having no money. You end up broke. You're a broke person with nice things, and in America, we have some of the best dressed broke people on planet Earth. The real path to being rich is wearing modest clothes, driving a modest car, and living in a modest house. Because then you have money left over to build your wealth. If you want to be the everyday rich person, the path that's going to get you there is living below your means or looking poor, as this title suggests. So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive on this topic and talk about the fact versus fictional reality of the rich, the true path to becoming rich, and how to get there. So let's start off with talking about why most people in this world have this very distorted view of what it means to be rich, with Chapter 1, The Profitable Industry of the Fictionalized Rich. So back in the day, when I was an extremely cute little boy, one show that was extremely popular on TV was called MTV Cribs, which went through famous celebrity houses showing their giant houses and their abundant materialistic lifestyles. And everyone had a fridge full of Cristal, and like most people, I grew up believing that this is what it meant to be rich: abundance. And this idea was reinforced by movies, the news, and social media. But now that I'm older, I can see past all the bullshit, and I now know that this image of the rich is completely fictionalized. But the reason we're flooded with an abundance of content of this is because of one reason: money. It's an industry. You see, when companies show this beautiful lifestyle of nice cars, designer clothes, and big houses, it gets people's attention. And that attention creates influence, and that influence translates into profit. And there's a lot of money to be made in that industry, but let me tell you something, there is no money to be made in showing a modest image of what it means to be rich, with a modest car, modest clothing, and a modest house, because it wouldn't get anybody's attention, and the whole thing would fall through. We see this materialistic portrayal of what it means to be rich, like MTV Cribs, because it gets people's attention, and that attention translates into profit. But this is a purely fictionalized image of what it means to be rich, and it ends up harming a lot of people. And so in order to not be harmed by it, let's talk about what it actually means to be rich and what their lifestyle looks like, with Chapter 2, The Boring Reality of the Everyday Millionaire. Now, instead of being fooled by this fictionalized image of what it means to be rich, let's take a look at what rich people's lifestyles actually look like. And let me warn you, it is pretty boring. According to a study by Ramsey Solutions of 10,000 millionaires, 8 out of 10 millionaires invested in their company's 401k plan. Their top careers were engineer, accountant, and teacher, and 62% went to public universities. And to make this even more boring, according to the book The Millionaire Next Door, common habits of millionaires are they live below their means, they value financial independence over status, and they own modest cars. That is the boring reality of the everyday millionaire. Rich people are not people that flaunt their wealth on TV, but they're people you would never guess were rich. And the truth is, these people that do flaunt their wealth often go bankrupt, like Mike Tyson, who made $400 million and declared bankruptcy, or Nicolas Cage, who made $150 million but owed $6 million to the IRS, and even Michael Jackson, who died with $400 million in debt. But that last one, honestly, is justified. You see, Michael never had a childhood, and every man and woman on earth needs a childhood. And we love you, Michael, we love you, and we hope that they finally are leaving you alone. Anyways, that is what a rich person looks like. So now that we spoke about the fact versus fictional reality of the rich, let's now talk about the true path to becoming rich. And so let's start off with the biggest quality that's going to get you there, with Chapter 3, Getting Money versus Keeping Money. Alright, so when it comes to becoming rich, there are two skills that will get you there. The first skill is getting money. Obviously, you have to have money, and this requires taking risks, being optimistic, and putting yourself out there. The second skill is keeping money. And this almost requires the opposite of humility and frugality. They're very different skills. And if we look at someone like Nicolas Cage, he's very good at getting money. But because he lives this extravagant life, he's terrible at keeping money. Which is why he ended up owing the IRS $6 million, versus the everyday millionaire is good at getting money, although slower, and because he lives a modest lifestyle, he's also good at keeping money. It doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't have the skill of keeping money. You will lose it all. And so looking poor or living below your means is extremely important to becoming rich, because the materialistic path makes you broke, but the modest path makes you rich. In order to be rich, you can't just be good at making money, but you also have to be very good at keeping money. And you keep money by living a very frugal lifestyle and living below your means or looking poor. And so now that we spoke about the true path to becoming rich, let's talk about how to get there. And it's actually very simple. So let's talk about it in Chapter 4, The Power of Small Decisions. Now, most people think that in order to become rich, you have to make tons of money. But as we've seen, the everyday millionaire is a pretty normal dude. The everyday millionaire gets there by making small decisions to save money over a long period of time. Decisions to look poor, like wearing modest clothing, preparing lunch for work, driving a modest car, and living in a modest house. From the outside looking in, this person doesn't seem like he has a lot of money. He's not this materialistic image of what it means to be rich that the media shows us. But because he's making all these small decisions to live a modest lifestyle, he's able to save tons of money. And although people might not perceive him as rich, when you look at his bank account, he's doing pretty good. There's a quote that goes, "Wealth is what you don't spend." You don't get rich by spending money. You get rich by not spending money. You get rich by not giving a shit about what other people think of you. And these small decisions you make to live a modest lifestyle add up to something much bigger. But it's not these small decisions that are going to get you there. It's not enough. You have to get that extra money to work for you. Which brings me to Chapter 5, The Compounding Effect of Wealth. If you look at our society, the rich keep getting richer, and the poor keep getting poorer. And why is that? Well, there are many reasons, but a huge reason is because poor people make their money, but rich people's money makes them money. You don't become rich by working hard and picking up extra shifts. No, you become rich by getting your money to work for you. And as we've seen, if you follow this path of living a more modest lifestyle, you end up having more money in your life. And if you use that extra money wisely, it can grow a lot faster than you will make it. For example, if you choose to live this very modest lifestyle, you could end up saving $1,000 a month and invest that extra money into the market with an annual return of 10%. And 35 years later, that lifestyle decision would add up to $3.2 million. Because you chose to live that modest lifestyle, your money begins to compound and begins to grow quicker than you could possibly make it. Wealth doesn't grow linear. It grows exponentially. And although people can't see that wealth through nice material possessions, you have the freedom to do more of what you want in life. And that is how looking poor makes you rich. And I just want to finish this video with one final thing, with chapter 6, creating your own definition of rich. Now, some people watching will see the title of this video and interpret as me saying that you should dress like a homeless person, drive a beat-up car, and eat ramen noodles. And just to be honest, those people didn't make it this far in the video. They just read the title, made a smart-ass comment, and left, and I will never take the bait. But I want to make it clear that that is not what I'm saying. There is nothing wrong with having nice things, and if you have the money, you should use it on things you enjoy. If you like fashion, get yourself some nice clothes. If you admire cars and have the money, then get yourself a sports car. But don't just do something because society is telling you that you should do it. Don't just follow this fictionalized portrayal of what happiness is and how to get approval in life. Because that's just dumb, and it's harming you a lot more than you think it is. Instead, create your own definition of what it means to be rich. Decide what you want in your own life, and I guarantee you, you will naturally spend less, and your life will be much richer. And with that, muchas gracias, que tenga un buen día, nos vemos chicos.